The truth has been revealed as to why the Minnesota Wild were capable of giving Kirill Kaprizov such a crazy contract. We're going to be breaking it down, and I can guarantee it's not what you think, as this contract has set records, and many people are still talking about this as being a very interesting deal for the future of the NHL. But for the Minnesota Wild, things are heating up, and this contract is only going to be getting better as time goes on. And like I said, I'm going to be breaking it all down here in this video. Before we do jump into it, though, ladies and gentlemen, I ask you one favor, and that's if you haven't already, be sure to hit the sub button. Join us here on Wild Digest. We have a lot of news coming with the Minnesota Wild this season. Now that Kirill Kaprizov is locked up, Rossi is locked up, this Wild team has their eyes set on the playoffs. And I also want to say a big thank you to you guys for watching these videos and getting us to 2K. Your support has been absolutely phenomenal. I appreciate everybody watching these videos day in and day out. But I want to jump straight into this video because we have to touch on this. A lot of people are wondering how and why the Wild were capable of giving Kirill Kaprizov such a crazy contract. And we see right now every Wild fan, and I shouldn't say every, because I know there's some people are still a bit hesitant on this contract, but a lot of people are still loving this deal from the Wild fans, and everybody else is questioning it. But one blaring obvious thing is coming out with this contract, which means the Minnesota Wild were capable of giving it to Kirill. And I want to pull this up first. Going over the offense, I want to take over the contracts that are sitting above $5 million right now on the offense. We're going to jump into the defense and goaltending here in a minute and really go why this is all one big kind of scheme to get things going. Now, when we had a look at this, everybody above $5 million. Marco Rossi signed his this offseason. Of course, Kirill Kaprizov still on $9 this year. Then for the next 8 years after, so, I mean, technically, I guess, a $9 million deal at this point. But next season, that's when that $17 million kicks in. You have Matt Boldy on a steal of a contract, Joe Eriksson Ek on a steal of a contract. Okay, go. Keep these in mind right here. We go into the defense. Taking a look at the defense, once again, there's only 2 players above, or I guess we could say 3 players above 6, 2 above 7. Jared Spurgeon at 7.5, Jonas Brodin at 6, and Brock Faber at 8.5, who was also locked up a season and a bit ago. Looking at that as well, pretty good contracts. Jacob Middleton also locked up for a very good one. Now, you go to the goaltending, taking a look at this. Jesper Wallstedt on a $2.2 million deal. And Filip Gustavsson, for how good he's been playing, also on a steal of a contract and projected to get another. Okay, we take a look at this. What is one thing that we all know? These contracts are very good. Nobody on this team, outside of Kirill Kaprizov, has above a $9 million deal. This was a major plan by the Wild multiple years ago. Multiple seasons ago, they had a scheme built out to make sure that this team was capable of giving Kirill Kaprizov anywhere upwards of $15 million. We didn't know back then how much it would actually cost, but we knew it would be upwards of some of the highest contracts in the NHL, and at this point right now where we currently stand is the highest in NHL history. Now, you go take a look. Matt Boldy, is he really worth a $7 million contract? No, he's worth more. He's worth maybe a $9 to $10 million deal. Joe Eriksson Ek, with his defensive capabilities, everything that he provides to a team, I think it's a fair value, but definitely could have gotten more when we did sign him for 8 years. Marco Rossi, we had him upwards of $8 million for this season, got him at 5. 3 very, very good deals there below Kirill Kaprizov. You go to the defense. Once again, Brock Faber. 8.5 for Brock Faber is very, very good. Remember how good he was in his first season. Last year, a little bit of a situation where he wasn't playing his best, but we know that's going to bounce back. And with injuries, of course, and everything going on with the Wild last year, this team really could not have been at their best. You go down with Spurgeon and Brodin. There are reports of trades. I don't really want to entertain any of those just now, but even with that, those deals are expiring pretty soon, and the fact that they can still hold on to these deals while Kirill Kaprizov is going to be at his very expensive price, this is a very smart move by the Minnesota Wild, and with the defense they have, David Jiricek, Zeev Boyum, we know that these guys are going to be getting some very big contracts down the road as well, but we are still given a bit of time with that. David Jiricek really has not shown to be able to get upwards of $7 million just yet, but this is going to be a season which is really going to be telling for him on his deal. Same with Zeev Boyum. Has not looked great this preseason so far, but we know things are going to be heating up on that side when it gets towards the season, when he gets his feet back underneath him, when he gets everything going. And we also remember, he started a bit late, so he's still got a little while to get ready for his NHL season. But with the Wild doing this, and of course the goaltending now with Filip Gustavsson making probably a $7 million deal if the Wild do choose to re-sign him at 7.2 being his projection for 6 years, the Wild have been doing this for years and years, building on to this team, making sure that they, at one point in time, can sign Kirill Kaprizov. And that day came yesterday that we were waiting for years. That Bill Guerin, that Craig Leopold were scheming for years. This makes a lot of sense now, looking at the deals, how kind of, I don't want to say frugal they've been, but how, very important and how much they've took into consideration that they don't want to overpay on contracts. The buyouts from Ryan Suter, Zach Parise, that worked out in our favor now, coming into it being $1.6 million total for the next 4 years, per season, I should say. All adding up to the fact that Kirill Kaprizov had this contract coming years ago, and this scheme now makes a lot of sense that we're finally seeing it play out. And one thing I want to also pull up, and for those who are concerned about the inflation rate coming with, his contract down the road, $17 million, it's a massive contract. We take a look at this, 23-24, the season that just passed, the season that was just passing 2 years ago. You're looking at that right now. The cap in nominal dollars, $83.5 million. You go back down to 2015-2016, the cap was $71.4 million. Over that time, it rose $12.1 million over that period of time of 8 years. We see that now. Kirill Kaprizov getting an 8-year contract. We know the cap is going to rise significantly over that. We see over a few years there in 2019 to 2021, during those seasons where COVID was ongoing, whatnot, the cap stayed the same. With everything rising now, we're going to see much higher contract totals coming over the years. And at the end of the day, when we're nearing the end of Kirill Kaprizov's contract in 8-9 years' time, he's going to be around the contract value right now of what he's currently at in $9 million. And for Kirill Kaprizov, $9 million is an absolute steal. So the Wild are putting all their chips on the table, knowing that Kirill Kaprizov's contract value is going to be way higher down the road. And continuing on with it as well, we can take a look at really the projections over the next couple of years, and these are still kind of moving parts as well. You see how much the salary cap is increasing over these times. Heading into this upcoming season, the cap rose by $7 million. You go to 27-28, that's just, still very early on in Kirill Kaprizov's contract. $113 million, going around $25 million higher than what it currently is. So you could take a look at this contract and really go to show how important and what this is going to be in a couple of years' time, and why the Wild were not just, rushing this, and why Craig Leopold was saying he's going to make Kirill Kaprizov the highest paid player in the NHL. They wanted things to get done as quick as possible so that, first of all, Connor McDavid's contract did not come into effect. They did not go about it. They're not dealing with any of that, having to pay him higher than what McDavid will likely make, whatever that contract is going to be. They wanted this locked up. They wanted it done before the season, and everything has fallen perfectly into place for this Minnesota Wild team. And I mean, going in as well, taking a look at the offense, you have Marco Rossi, Matt Boldy, and Kirill Kaprizov on the first line. You have that line now for a minimum of 3 years. If you want to renegotiate Rossi's contract come this, he's still an RFA after, he could be making upwards of, maybe $10 million. I don't want to say that right now because with Boldy on a $7 million deal, that's a crazy good contract. Rossi, when this time does come, the contracts are going to be up in price. The cap's going to be up. Things are going to be changing for years to come in the NHL. So with all of these contracts really being such steals for the Minnesota Wild, they were able to afford Kirill at even more than $17 million if they absolutely needed to. And what a steal of a contract it was. And I mean, just pulling up his stats, I feel like I don't need to, but going into what he's done last year, even throughout the injuries, if he was healthy, if he was going, we would have seen a Hart Trophy for the Minnesota Wild. So, I mean, this is all falling into place. This is all making sense now. And the truth has been revealed and has been really kind of in place as to why this is going on. But ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think about this contract. I feel like I didn't ask you in the last video, but let me know how you think this contract really plays out with this Wild team. And of course, free agency over the years are going to be very interesting pieces with how much cap the Wild will have and whatnot. But this gives them a very big opportunity to really do whatever they want. So let me know what you think about that. But that is all I have in this video. If you did enjoy, give it a like, hit the sub button as well. I'm signing out, though. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.